The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break!
With Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Nick Harris, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, December 5th, 2024, season 20, episode number 80. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo.
I'd like to send Derek some money, some funds, please do.
Yeah, I need to just do my Cash App and just say, send me money if you'd like to. It can help. It goes to a good cause.
Off-air discussions are outstanding. Yeah.
OF.
What? What'd you say?
OF. She was going to try and do the OnlyFans thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
What do you know about that?
What do you know about that?
What do you know about that?
Right.
Hey, I'm trying to get your art sold. That's what I'm trying to do.
There?
No, anywhere.
This show
Check
is
out
always
Amber's
This
art.
went off the rails in 37 seconds.
No, check out her art. She's got some.
I mean, took
Show
him
more of your
less than
football
a
pictures.
second to know what that was.
A 61-year-old man.
Wow. All right.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
All right.
Right here, Brian.
There we go.
Let's go. All right. That was a good laugh to
How
start.
about your boss looked at you? What do you know about it?
I'm literally crying right now.
Well,
Okay,
anyway.
Cowboys,
No, your art looks good.
Bengals.
Your picture
It really
looked good
does.
the other day, man.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Thank you.
it
Thank
did.
you.
How
It's
many
great
pieces
stuff.
you got now that you're trying to, like, I don't want to say get rid of, but you're trying to see if someone wants to
She's got
purchase?
some really good cowboy pieces too.
I don't know. I have some hanging around the house.
Yeah.
And
That
I
you would get
recently.
rid of if someone wanted to buy it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
at the right price, right?
Yeah. Right.
But no, I still have quite a few. I just thought I should probably start putting it out there again because it's been a long time. It was since before
Great,
COVID.
very
Maybe we need another art show.
But thank you.
That was a good. That was
Nah,
a cool
that was
show.
a one and done. I did it for the experience.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought it was cool. It was the first time I ever went to an art show, and I thought it was cool.
it was a lot of work put into it.
Yeah.
So
Booze it up.
yeah.
That's what art shows are, right? Stand around, talk about it, and drink.
Hey, you hooked me up with some wine.
I do.
Yeah.
Bennett Glazer.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right, let's talk some Cowboys football. We're going to talk
think?
about. We got to catch up on some injuries. There are a lot of guys that, although there was no official injury report yesterday, there were lots of reports that were coming out about different guys and where they are as far as injuries are concerned. Then we'll get into some discussions on the Cincinnati defense versus the Cowboys offense. We got some questions lined up from the fans that we will get to, and I would love to take some phone calls. So give us a call 888-855-2297. Again, it is 888-855-2297. Our trusty producer, Chris Beam, will get you lined up. And you can call us anytime, and we'll jump on and take some calls.
Sure.
All right.
We are full of jokes today.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Or the
let's
phone
go.
will just ring for 45 minutes.
Let's go. Let's catch up on some of these injuries. I'm going to throw out a name. You guys tell me what you've heard about him. Where are we with DeMarcus Lawrence?
Does not sound like he's going to go this week. He did not have his practice window activated yesterday. He would have needed that. But continuing rehab work this week, and we'll probably be revisiting that come Tuesday or Wednesday.
All right, Zack Martin.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
ahead.
It's funny, real quick. I mean, I was just happened to be walking down the hallway and looked out there and just took it, seeing how the weather was, and he happened to be working out, but there was some good work. I mean, there was Britt Brown and him were getting after. Britt will get after. We all know that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was, just from a scouting evaluation, I was really encouraged by the things that Britt was kind of having to do. As I was walking, I was watching the lateral drills and stuff like that. It was very, very, very promising, though.
All right. Zack Martin.
Zack Martin, it looks like they're just getting him back on schedule. He did not practice yesterday, but taking that veteran day, as I think they're going to try to be as cautious as possible with him for the rest of the season, and rightfully so. Yesterday was a walkthrough, so it was a very light day, so there was no reason to put Zack out there. Today will be the big threshold for Zack Martin, but I think he's going to be ready to go Monday.
Got nominated for Men of the Year award.
Sure did.
Outstanding achievement for him. As it is for all the different teams they put out. Every team will have one nominee from their roster that then makes it to one of the 32, and then they'll have one winner for the entire league. So Cowboys have now 4 or 3?
4. 3. Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman,
and then Dak.
And Jason Witten won 4.
Yeah, didn't
Jason
Witten win one?
Jason Witten's 4.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's right. 4. Yeah.
So it's 4.
Staubach, Aikman, Witten, Dak.
Got it.
Those
so they
are
have
4.
4 right now.
Yeah.
And Zack Martin is the nominee for this year.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's talk about Trayvon Diggs.
Pay
Where are we
attention,
with
Derek.
Trayvon Diggs? Sorry.
You
have
walk
Trayvon?
by it.
I do walk by it. See, really
That's what I'm
every
saying.
day.
That's the only reason I knew. I walked by it. I was walking by it every day. And I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, okay, makes
1,
sense.
2, 3.
Yeah. The fact that he practiced, I think, is encouraging. Or the mock game.
Yeah.
I got fooled by that one time, the old mock game.
Yeah.
Thinking it was really a game. Not. It's bucket hats and shorts. It's
Yep.
mock games.
Mock.
But mock.
Underwear
yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah. But it was
They
encouraging.
mocked you.
Yeah, they did mock me. It was encouraging though that he was part of that.
Right? I think that's
what I
where
was
it
told.
came
So
from.
Yeah.
keeping an eye on they're keeping an eye on that one. But the fact that he at least he was part of that was something that they say that was a step in the right direction because they have the extra day.
Honestly, of all these names, that's the one that I think is most critical this weekend. Obviously, with the matchups you got there on the outside, getting Trayvon Diggs back will be huge, I think, for this week.
Yeah, speaking of the cornerback position, they signed 2 guys to the practice squad yesterday, and D. Delaney and Troy Pride. Both of those guys have been in the league roughly 5-6 years. They worked out Xavier Howard, the former All-Pro for the Miami Dolphins. Just sounds that sounds like a situation where the price would be a little too high to justify keeping him around for only 5 weeks. And it's not like there's a roster spot available; more so a practice squad spot. So.
All right. Catch me up on Amani Oruwariye.
Yeah, so he was had his practice window activated yesterday, back on the practice field, and was he was moving around, just like anyone else during the mock game, but not really sure as far as availability goes. But that is a corner spot that they will need with Josh Butler going down. Kalen Carson's gone on IR, so it's kind of being left to Keemon Hall, Amani Oruwariye, if he can make it back, to try and figure out that other corner spot opposite of Deron Bland if Diggs can't go, or if they need someone to come in the event of injury.
Right, and even if Diggs can go, you're going to need that other guy just to just have safety, some safety in case of injury.
And also Israel Mukuamu. I keep forgetting to factor him in.
Yeah.
He's just kind of that chess piece you can move around in the secondary.
Yeah, and he hasn't been bad either. I don't think for
so.
what he is, like he's a guy that's kind of a tweener between corner and safety, but I think he's been fine at the corner position as much as they've had to play him.
I'm surprised they haven't valued him more, and not to say that maybe they've disvalued. Maybe that's the wrong word. I used him more just because he is so versatile. We've seen him play multiple roles. We've seen him play nickel, outside, safety.
Yeah.
When Dan Quinn was here, we saw him play in that kind of rover safety role that Jaron Kearse got used to playing in. I mean, he's a very versatile defender, and he's good. He's a good defender. It's not like he's a liability out there.
Yeah.
There's been times in the past where you put that depth corner out there, you put that depth DB up there, and you're like, oh boy, hold on to your britches. But this isn't. I don't think Israel Mukuamu is one of those situations.
The fact that he plays well enough in the nickel, in the slot, and they could put Lewis on the outside should tell you something a little bit.
Yep.
Because usually trying to move Lewis out of the slot is something you probably don't want to do very much. Mm-hmm. But they've found a way, though, with Mukuamu to play him inside a little bit and him be okay, and that allowed Lewis to play on the outside, which, me personally, I hadn't seen Lewis play on the outside since the Michigan days.
Yeah.
That
was really wild to me.
And all of a sudden,
Aaron Glenn,
you're seeing
little guy out there.
You're seeing him. You're seeing number 2 outside. And you're like, okay, they're doing this just because they're really, really banged up. But it's actually kind of become something that they can go to. It's a little bit of a change. Lewis playing on the outside. It seems like they're trying to attack him with a vertical ball, and he's like well in step and hanging in there. And so but I think that says something about Mukuamu, because me personally, if I was a coach, I'd never move Jordan Lewis out of the slot.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't do it. He's just too good at that spot. But they've kind of figured it out.
As much as you guys evaluate talent for the draft show, give me, like, it seems to me like the body type of somebody like Mukuamu typically doesn't do well in the slot. Is that an accurate statement?
Leggy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lengthy, and
Right.
it just takes
Does
those
that
guys
typically
longer.
happen? Like that seems
Yeah.
rare.
It takes those guys longer to move
Yeah.
their bodies, and you have to be able to move quickly in the slot. You have to be able to.
You got
have
to carry.
those
You got to carry
Beyonce
the
hips.
field.
Right.
Yeah. You got to.
Yeah.
So that being, what did you say?
The Beyonce hips,
What does that mean?
like move hips pretty quick. You know?
Flexibility.
Anyway,
I would have gone with Shakira.
either or.
Okay.
I mean,
Flexible hips.
Shakira would have been a better
That's what I was
that
thinking
is
too. Like I've never
Beyonce
known.
hips.
I gotta go look now. I didn't realize she did anything
has
with her
hips.
hips. That
Yeah,
was
she has hips.
This is Houston
talking about?
people. You know,
I know.
Houston people can't do it.
Jeez.
They're talking about other Houston people.
No, it's not that. It's like
Jeez.
that's not something I've ever really heard about her. But I'll go check it out.
Do
You don't
feel
have
like-
to be
do
checking out
do you wanna
nothing. You
take
can
back
ask
what you just
Denise
said?
to check
No, I
it out for you.
I don't at all.
What's wrong with that? I'm not saying I'm gonna do anything. I just want to see
You
what he's
ask
talking
Denise.
about. All right. Anyway, we're off the subject. Let's get back to the subject. But that is, I guess my point is, with that body type, does that tell you like he
Yeah.
has a little rare ability there as a leggy guy, as you mentioned,
See, that's
to be able to do that?
That's the problem. Ideally, what you do when you have tall guys, and Will Johnson, who we'll talk about from Michigan, is another one of these guys that's one of the highly rated corners. He's 6'2". People will say, oh, he's a little bit leggy in his turn, meaning it takes him when he pedals and then has to turn, it takes him that to have to pick up his leg instead of just boop, flipping. You have to pick it up and then get it going the right direction. So that's what happens a little bit what they talk about with Mukuamu. He's able to kind of stay in balance and then turn quickly to get to where he needs to be. So he's not as leggy as your normal 6'2", 6'3" type corners that you see.
Just another reason why it is a travesty that Darren Woodson ain't in the Hall of Fame yet.
Yeah.
At his size, not only leggy, but just a big guy to be able to play the slot the way he did for all those years.
gotta
I mean,
get in,
it's
man.
amazing to me that he's not in the Hall of Fame.
This
But
year now?
hopefully this is his year. Huh?
This year?
Let's hope so. I mean,
I'll
it's
tell you
just
what,
it's weird to me.
I was at the Super Bowl with him and his wife after he, it was the Super Bowl. We were in Phoenix, and he missed out again.
Yeah.
And his wife and I, we were both like cussing up a storm right there in the terminal there in Phoenix, Sky Harbor Airport. We're just cussing about the thing. Darren walks up like, "What are you two doing? Just stop this." I'm like, "Why? It's a," and then I drop an F-bomb and say something about, why he should be. I go, "I was with Leroy Butler. He's not," and I was going on and on and on. His wife's like, "Yeah, tell him, Brian, tell him what the," But Darren's just like, "Man, just relax. Both of you relax." But that's Darren Woodson.
That's who he is.
He's not going to make it about him. And, I was getting more mad than he was. And so, but that's the type of guy he is. He just was like, "Hey, it's fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, I want to worry about it." And, but
Extremely high character person.
really high
Absolutely.
character.
Yeah.
My favorite player I've ever been around.
Yep, me too.
Of all the guys
Me
I've
too.
ever been around, my favorite
Absolutely.
player by far.
Absolutely. All right, catch us up on Tyler Guyton. What are we hearing about him?
Hearing high ankle sprain there,
Yeah.
I would expect Chuma Udoga to start on
Udoga.
Monday.
If
And
it's
that's
high
gonna be-
ankle sprain, is that it for him for this year? Because high ankle sprains tend
it's
to
not easy.
take several weeks, right?
Yeah, that's not easy. They're not putting him on IR just yet. I mean, they have until Sunday. It would still be Sunday, right? Because it would be the game a day before the game. They have
Right.
until Sunday to do that if they feel that that's necessary. But yeah, it's definitely not happening this week. Definitely not.
Yeah.
But definitely a high ankle sprain, not a regular ankle sprain.
It was
or is
really-
that what we're just kind of
It was very
piecing
strange.
together?
It was very strange how he got injured, and you watch it, and it wasn't like he got rolled up on. It's almost like a basketball injury where he stepped on Schoonmaker's foot, and it kind of messed him up. But he didn't get you're there in knee and ankle, and you didn't see him get hit from the side or rolled up on. It was just like sometimes when a shooter goes up and they come down on a defender's foot and their ankle. I mean, that's kind of, I think, what happened to him. And then he tried to come back. They were playing with Udoga. They kicked a field goal or an extra point, and they had him in at tackle, and he couldn't put any weight on the left foot. And you're like going, "Oh, okay, well now he is hurt," because you could tell he was favoring it. But it was a really strange injury. It was usually these linemen get rolled up or something happens where they get caught up, but this one wasn't that way.
Yeah.
What are we hearing about CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks? I don't think either were at the open part of practice yesterday.
As far as Cooks goes, just continuing, he came out well after, last Thursday.
Yeah.
The big break is going to help both of those guys. I think if CD was operating on a normal week, it probably would have been a lot closer for him. But this extended break is going to help him. Today's going to be a big indicator, though, for both of those guys, really, but more so CD.
All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back. We'll dive into the Cincinnati defense. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Don't put off getting your oil change, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. They're so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's Stay in Your Car 10-minute oil change at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. That means you won't even have time to show off your best touchdown celebration. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break, live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. The segment brought to you by blockchain.com. All right, let's talk about the Cincinnati defense. A couple things that stood out to me initially. They are 26th. They are the 26th ranked defense in the NFL. They are 31st in points allowed. But they're also 30th in sacks. They're not getting a lot of sacks.
No, not at all.
With only 21.
One
that
guy.
being said, that's what I was going to say. Who is the best pass rusher and where does he typically line up?
Yeah, it feels like Trey Hendrickson is about 85% of what their pass rush is. And if he's not getting home, there's not a whole lot elsewhere. He's leading the NFL with 11.5 sacks, but everyone else.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Leading the NFL, and the team is 31st in the overall sacks.
Everyone else on the team has
crazy.
9.5 combined. So, that pass rush has not been phenomenal. I've seen him line up more so from the right side.
Yep.
I'll find the snap counts.
On his right side, on the defensive
right side.
Their
His
right side, yeah.
Cowboys left,
Every one of his sacks has been from the right side. So my gut feeling is it's a Chuma Edoga day. And so that's,
Talk to me about that matchup.
Yeah.
What you've seen from Chuma and what you know of Hendrickson.
This is where Hendrickson kind of is a problem, is because he is capable. Some of these guys are really good at just going outside. This guy does a really good job of setting you up, and he's not a get way up the field rusher and then you push him past the quarterback guy.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of, you could tell he does film study because he's rushing at the level of where the quarterback's playing a lot of the time. Like if a quarterback's a little bit deeper of a dropper, you could see he adjusts.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a little bit more shallow in the pocket, you could see he's there. But he's going to rush off how he feels the offensive tackles playing him. So if Udoka keeps wide set, that thing's coming back inside.
Mm-hmm.
And he's strong enough, and he's got this technique. And I know, Nick, if you were saying when you watch him play, hand slapping, grabbing, pushing, power. Like, yeah, when you try and kind of sit, when he's going to get the edge, it's the edge. When he's going to go inside, it's all power. He's like, okay, I'm going to take you to the quarterback. The Raider game, I mean, he destroyed the Raiders. I think he had 4 sacks in the game. It was crazy. But the Raiders were struggling with their left tackle spot, and he just took advantage of that. So Udoka's got to be ready for that he's going to always get to where Cooper Rush is going to be. If you think you're going to push him past, heck, you might push him into Cooper Rush. Because most of these guys,
he's going to be so flat.
Yeah, he's going to be so flat, and all of a sudden you're pushing him, thinking he's going to go by. No, you've got to make sure you stay with him. You just can't shove him and hope that he's going to go too wide. But he's also got to worry about the inside rush.
Here's the splits. He's played 566 snaps this season. He has only played 4 on the left side of the defensive line. So this is
pretty clear where he's going to be.
Yeah. I think in this one, this is the only guy I'm worried about on this defense. I would have said their linebacker and Logan Wilson, but they just lost him for the season coming into this week. They're going to have they're going to have some things to figure out in that second level. He was a really good run defender for them. But if I'm the Cowboys offense, I am leaning on Rico Dowdle. I'm giving him 20, 25 carries, and I'm saying, hey, you need to go win the time of possession battle because you need to keep the ball out of that offense's hands. And if they can do that, then it's why the Bengals have had struggles this year, is because this defense just stays on the field and it shortens the game.
And Nick makes an excellent point, because I was curious about their run defense. They're really good at the line of scrimmage and behind the line of scrimmage, but teams get yards after contact on them. Mm-hmm. So they're very good at contact at or beyond or behind the line of scrimmage. They just don't get the guy initially down on the ground. That's the problem that they've struggled with when the running game. Now, I'll tell you another thing, and this is something I think is very, very telling about this defense running the football or running the football against them. 6 of their 13 games, the opponent has rushed the ball 30 times. 30 times in 6 of their 13 games. The Bengals' record is 1-5.
I was about to say what
the only game they lost. The only game they won was the Giants game. They won that game 17-7. But every other game where the opponent has rushed the ball more than 30 times, they've lost that football game. Mm-hmm. So, can you with no Logan Wilson? Jermaine Pratt. I think Jermaine Pratt is an okay player too for their linebacker. I think losing Wilson is really going to hurt them in this situation, because I kind of feel like, okay, if Dallas gets into that mode where they, Dallas has had their share of struggles running the football, but the last 2 weeks they seem to have found something here. They seem to have found a little bit of with Rico Dowdle and his ability. But I'm with Nick. I'm committed to running the football this game and seeing if the Bengals can stop the run.
When you mention yards after contact, it appears to me, and I don't have the numbers on this, I'm sure we could probably look it up. It doesn't appear to me that Dallas has a type of run game that really thrives on getting a lot of yards after contact. Is that an accurate assessment? And if so, do they have the ability to take advantage of this perceived weakness for Cincinnati?
Yeah, I wouldn't qualify Rico Dowdle as a slippery runner.
No.
Physical, yes, and can fight forward for an extra few yards, after contact. He's good about falling forward rather than falling side or falling back. But I wouldn't necessarily say this is a offensive running game that is prone to missing tackles and making guys miss.
Just to give you a point of reference, because I put it in my notes for my pregame show, and the Bengals have allowed 1,130 yards of yards after contact in the running game. And just for a point of reference, Dallas has allowed 1,148. So we've all seen Dallas play and how it seems like, oh God, it's just they can't get the guy on the ground. Mm-hmm. The last couple of weeks they've done a really good job on defense of getting guys on the ground. The defense has, but overall it seemed like, man, they're not winning at the point of attack, they're not tackling. So that just gives you an idea. If you think Dallas has struggled stopping people at the line of scrimmage or beyond the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, the Bengals have been just as bad. So that, Dowdle is kind of a run and just blast into people, and if he bounces off, he's not going to sit there and spin and do all those things. But we've seen enough of him knowing, though, if arm tackles don't always get him down. Mm-hmm. You got to kind of wrap him up because he's going to kind of fall forward in this. By the way, just to let you know, Ambar, Detroit Lions have only allowed 607 yards after contact this year to running backs. It's first in the league.
Wow. And I just
so
saw
Dallas has allowed twice as many yards after contact than what the Detroit Lions have.
We got some breaking news, if we could hop in really quick.
Good or bad?
It's not good. Zack Martin is having season-ending ankle surgery, according to head coach Mike McCarthy. That just came down.
All right, so I guess the conversation we had earlier this week about Brock Hoffman. Hey, it's time to let's see.
You already know this, Brian?
What's that?
You were so insistent of going with Brock Hoffman.
No, I was.
Did you know something already?
No, I didn't. I knew. We all knew how banged up he was.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it every day. Derek asks us the injury report, and to me, I was worried. I was thinking that coaches are very much about process and a system and keeping the continuity of things. You've run the ball well. You've protected well. A healthy body at right guard has been one of the reasons why. Zach wasn't healthy. He just wasn't healthy enough to play.
Y'all feel we already saw the end?
No, I have a hard time. I thought all the way up till this point that this might have been the last year for him. Now I have a hard time thinking he's going to want to go out in his career on IR. And that makes me wonder if he's like, I want one more shot at this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard thing to do when you've played as long and as great as he has, to be like, I'm going to end my career on IR. Like, I think that's just a hard thing to do. And we'll see.
Or he could look at it this way, as I need to get fixed and now I need to go on with my life.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. What I hope doesn't happen is that all of a sudden he gets fixed and the Cowboys say, we're not going to pay your salary anymore and move on. And then he goes and plays somewhere else. That I wouldn't like very much.
Yeah.
There's a lot to consider here, but yeah, that's sad news for somebody of that caliber that he's now on IR. And it is at that point where every year is are you going to come back? Like that's a part of the conversation. He's even made it a part of the conversation. He's talked about it. So I think
this year was really,
sad.
really, really tough on him. And as we all have said many a day, Father Time is undefeated.
Yep.
And there's a side of me that now is really wondering, are you just getting fixed so you can say goodbye? That we could bring everybody, we could have a press conference and he could stand up there and thank everybody for, the opportunity he had and then move on. Kind of like what Travis Frederick did.
Yeah.
Travis Frederick kind of realized that he saw the end. He wasn't his Travis Frederick all-pro center anymore. He was kind of a shell of that. And he said, no, I'm done. And I wonder if Zack Martin's kind of feeling the same way. That, I give it the best I could, this year. I just got too banged up and having to get ready to play. These seasons they're tough on guys like that. Mm-hmm. Very tough.
Real quick before we take our final break, tell me about the weakness of their pass defense. If you look at the back end of their defense, where are the weaknesses? Where are the areas you can exploit it?
I feel like it's really everywhere, to be honest.
You got options?
It really is. And I look at Taylor Britt, and there's up and downs there, but I could say that for everybody. I mean, this is a young defense, not only in the pass defense, but they went and got 3 rookie defensive tackles. They got a rookie linebacker. They have a rookie starting at corner in Josh Newton out of TCU. There's a lot of youth on this defense, and they've kind of thrown them in the deep end, and they haven't really been treading water well. I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the secondary. They just have to keep Trey Hendrickson from
wrecking the shop
in this game. If they can keep him
tight
at bay,
end, get over there and help out. Like that. If you only got one guy, I'm like, just double him.
Speaking of tight end, this might be a game. This team plays a lot of single high safety, of single high safety. And if that's the case, then now we've seen with Ferguson. I know it was Ferguson and Dak with those seam routes and stuff like that. maybe this is one of those games where you can kind of get Ferguson going once he gets back, that you can throw some seam routes on that single high stuff, or get somebody in the slot that can play vertically that can do that against this group. I kind of feel like that Mike Hilton, the nickel, is another guy you can go after. So the two guys I would think about the most here is Cam Taylor-Britt. He wears number 29, and then Mike Hilton. He's number 21 in the nickel. Those are two guys. Just block the front like we always talk about and attack those guys from the jump.
Yeah, my guess would be I would expect to see a lot of 12 personnel and a lot of 21 personnel. Either have that extra running back in Lipke in there or have that extra tight end in there so that you can give the look that you're going to either run the ball or give the look that you can pass out of that. You're just going to get extra protection for Hendrickson. And that gives you, I think, the best case scenario where you can maybe, again, especially with single safety, to be able to get some opportunities on the outside with those receivers downfield.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our final break. We will come back, and we'll talk a little bit about the Cowboys' offense and how it matches up, maybe get to a question or two. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a Pepper thing.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to the break.
LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game, but don't take our word for it. Digital Trends said that LG OLED G4 has the best picture quality they've ever seen. See it for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Welcome back. It is final segment of the break live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. You got something real quick for us?
Yeah, this is from Calvin Watkins, the Dallas Morning News at the press conference for Mike McCarthy right now. Said that Zack Martin will, quote, take a step back before deciding on his future. And Mike also said, we're not going to replace Zack Martin. He brings so much to the team. So, yeah. Wild.
Yeah,
Wild.
That is. That's sad news, but we'll see how it goes, and hopefully, whatever the decision is that Zack makes is good for him and his family. First and foremost, we want whatever's good for him. So, see how that goes.
He was a lot of fun to interview last year, like on a weekly
when you
basis.
guys had him. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories about him was I tell you the story about when he won that trophy in the bowl game. He won like he was MVP
yeah,
of the
he
bowl,
was.
and he was going to
Wait,
a
he was
party.
an MVP of a bowl game?
Yeah, he was MVP of a bowl game, and they
Forgot
had
about
the
that.
trophy. He was riding across the lake to go visit like friends, and he had the trophy in the boat, and it fell out into the water, and they didn't even go. They just kept going. He's like,
oh well.
I was going to show you the trophy, but it's in the bottom of the lake.
Wow.
I'm like, you didn't even think about jumping. He goes, nah, heck no, I didn't think about it.
That's crazy.
He
The
just went to
tackle
the bottom
won
of the lake.
MVP of a bowl game.
He was an MVP of it. Yeah,
It's like
You
when
know how
Michael
good
Dixon,
he had to be?
It's like when Michael Dixon was the MVP of the Texas Bowl for Texas back in I don't know when that was.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that.
That is crazy. All right, let's real quick.
It's kind of funny
when you talk about.
It's when when they give him like the Thanksgiving trophy, everybody kind of looks at it like, oh, hey, yeah,
Another one
thanks.
to add
Yeah,
to
and it's
whatever.
like,
Exactly.
like, oh, here, yeah, and it's like a whacked out turkey, and then, what are we gonna do with this?
Yeah. How much do you guys attribute the drops from CD last week to his injuries?
The shoulder's got to be bothering him. I mean, with an AC joint, there's only so much. Your shoulder is limited, especially as far as getting your hands up. I can't speak towards the drop specifically, but if I'm thinking about mechanics and how the arm and shoulder works, I'm sure it's not as easy as it would be catching normal balls. I mean, he said last week this is the most banged up he's been in his career. Yeah. He's playing through it. So,
and we haven't seen him drop as many as he dropped last week in the game. Like that just felt like something was off.
He has the second highest or second lowest catch rate in the NFL out of eligible receivers going into this week. He's dropping 10% of his passes,
which I assume has to be a career high for him.
Absolutely, by a long shot.
Yeah.
He was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum coming into the season as far as what he's done these last couple of years. So you would have to. There was a lot of things that I think factor into that. Him not being at camp and taking a few weeks to get going, and then Dak gets out of the equation. Got to get used to a new quarterback. Then you get hurt, and he was already hurt when the new quarterback came in. But there's a lot that's been playing out of CD's favor. But I think more credit has to be given to CD than discredit, just because he's still at the top of the league in receptions. He's still top 10 in receiving yards. He's still helping to power this offense, even despite everything that's going on right now.
And that doesn't help when you have a quarterback that's not always going to put it exactly where you need it to be. Like, you have to be...
What do you mean by that?
Mrs. Rush would like a word with you.
Yeah. We know who she wants as backup quarterback next year.
Mr. Rush would like to see you, please.
Hey, I have eyes.
Yeah.
I can see after getting LASIK.
Are we sure?
That's why I protect them with these sunglasses right now. I'm protecting my investment in my eyes. No, but yeah, surely that doesn't help. And we've seen it not just with him, but the rest of the receivers. But I agree with you. I think the whole training camp conversation is way out the window at this point, and I think he's been solid enough given the situation.
Let's take a question from Carmine Polo. He says, with the offensive line playing better, Mike's offense is still mediocre. Now more than ever, he needs to open it up. And this is not specific to this week, because I think we all agree that this week they need to actually maybe throttle it down a little bit and really rely on the run. But just in general, do you agree with that statement? And if so, how should they open it up? How do they open this offense up?
They should be more creative, get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, and have blockers out in front. I feel like they don't utilize guys like CD, Turpin, Cooks enough in the run after catch department, and they have a ton of receivers that are good after the catch and can get out in space, and especially with some blockers out in front that can make things happen. That would be my interpretation of opening things up. But also, we got used to last year so many mesh concepts, and I feel like we haven't really seen a whole lot of that this year. If it's all felt very
makes you wonder.
It's all felt very stagnant. Yeah. So I would just guys on the move. Always moving. There's been multiple times, and this goes back to when Dak was quarterback before he got hurt. There's been multiple times where it's 4 or 5 seconds after the snap, and all the receivers are just planted. And there's not any movement. There's not any off-script movement, and that's what Dak was so good at last year in this offense, but just haven't seen it.
Totally agree. I mean, seriously, I mean, it's taken trying to get Turpin involved. You get some legitimate playmakers, and it just kind of makes me wonder if we've gone back to some of the concepts that were, the first 5-6 weeks of last season. Did we go? Do we go back? This will work. We'll tweak it a little bit, and man, it to me it just we all watch games every week. We watch, we see other teams, we see how other offenses operate. And it seems like to me it's very much the 1990s offense where you're running the slants and the hitches and, the sprint right option on the goal line. It's very, very 1990s that when Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and them were throwing it, it was really good. But right now, it's not the way to get your best playmakers open consistently. And, Ambar's talked about this a bunch, and I totally agree with her. Don't have a problem with Mike McCarthy, the coach, the head coach. I have a problem with Mike McCarthy, the play caller. I do. And Mike Zimmer, friend of mine. I mean, I'm not saying it's because of Mike. He's had his struggles too. But I see him trying to do different things. He's just not doing the same damn thing every week. He realized I'm playing with short stack here, and I've got to kind of find a way to kind of use my guys, and he has. He's kind of pieced this thing together. Now he's starting to get guys back, and it's looking better because they're doing more things. I don't see that on the offense, and that's unfortunate.
What's weird and what drives me crazy is and it's all about perspective, I suppose, but when we watch something, we talk about it for so long, but then we don't see them. Basically, I would say seeing the same things that we see. You mentioned Turpin in the conversation last year. Look how long it's taken for us to finally actually start seeing more of Turpin. Yeah. Same with the running game, for example, as far as this year. And what's happened with Rico. Yeah. Yes. Hunter Lipke, that's another guy that kind of we saw sparkles. What do you say?
Sparkles works.
Yeah,
I'll take
sure.
sparkles.
Sparkles and
I
rainbows.
prefer sprinkles.
Sparkles. Yeah.
Flashes. That's the word I was looking for. Flashes of it. Same thing.
Flashes, sparkles, same thing. You're right.
But even guys like Cooks last year, I know they tried one game. It didn't work out, and I just feel that one game earlier in the season, it was just maybe a product of him just having a bad day, and then he got injured and went out, and then we saw the effect that he has on the offense. He made 2 huge plays on last weekend's game, but it's always interesting to me how we feel like we see things so clearly from our perspective, but it's different from what they show week after week as far as improvements.
There are things I think that they see in practice. Yeah. There are temperaments that they see dealing with the players. Like the players are not stuff. Yeah, the players are not robots, and everything we see on the field isn't necessarily what they're seeing behind the scenes that makes them make certain decisions, And I know just when you're leading a group of people, sometimes the decisions you make have a lot to do with what everybody needs to see. So if you've got a player, let's say, for example, there's a player, and I'm not pointing at any particular player on the Cowboys, but let's just assume there's a player who everybody wants to see get more involved, but the coaches are seeing behind the scenes. He's not doing the study work. Yeah. He's not paying attention during team meetings.
That's true.
Those are things that they look at, and they're like, we're not going to reward that behavior by giving him more opportunities because the rest of the team is watching that. And so they have to make a decision that publicly looks to us like, why are you not getting this guy more involved? But they're like, there are reasons why he's not more involved. And again, this is not directed at any player. I'm just saying sometimes we have to think there are more things involved in a decision than what we know and what we see.
And I agree with that. But the thing to me, yes, if it is 1 or 2 players, but when you talk about a larger scale, then at some point the players are not the problem. At some point is the voice that they're listening to.
Well, fair. But it also could be a situation where, again, I'm not saying that's always.
And this is just all talk.
I'm
this is not me saying I saw something happen or anything.
The whole point I'm making is just I think we have to be at least aware of the fact, and we have to, if we're being responsible in how we report this,
we don't get
then
to
we
see
have
everything.
to say there are other things that could be at play than just the player's ability that we don't know about that they know about.
Yeah. Well, then. Maybe then it needs to be known that if they lose a game, and we asked Mike McCarthy, why isn't Turpin not playing more on the offense?
Yeah.
than Mike McCarthy if he would help me out and say, Turpin's not
He doesn't want to help you out.
Turpin's not practicing very well. He's missed some time in the meetings. He's not picking things up. We're not very good at that position right now. We don't trust him to put him in the game.
Which a coach will never do. And again, please, I don't want this turned into Turpin's doing stuff off the field. That is not the case. I've not heard anything like that. He's a good teammate from everything I've heard.
Any player, insert
just
player.
In general.
Insert player. But when you lose a game, then tell me why. Don't tell me it was the pre-snap penalties.
Yeah,
turnovers are bad. No, okay. If you as a coaching staff, and maybe off the record they do more of that, where they do explain that, hey, this guy is not very football intelligent, and we can't play him because we're going to make mistakes. I'd love to know that. If it has to be off the record or whatever, I'd love to be able to know that.
I will say, and this back in the day, I used to appreciate this. Bill Parcells would actually give you a fair assessment of a player. He would actually go a little bit overboard. He would, even the good players, he's like, oh, that guy. Oh, that guy. He'd give you a fair assessment.
He would go, you don't have to coach that guy.
Right. He'll give you
That's
something.
What he used to tell me. He goes, you want that guy? You don't have to coach him. And I would go, that's fair. You're right. It's fair. I don't have to coach him. And that's, but to me, I think we live in a day and age where the criticism part, if you just told us why that some things with play calling, why it doesn't work, I think we'd all have a better understanding of that, and maybe give you a little bit more of a pass on some things.
Yeah, and maybe that's the thing you do off the record. Obviously, you wouldn't get up on a stage and say that, but there are opportunities to tell media that off the record. So at least the media colors how they report it, right?
Hey, Parcells is unemployed.
Stop it. All right, we appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back tomorrow.
Captain Morgan walking back in.
We will wrap this thing up tomorrow. I'll let you guys know what we think is going to happen on Sunday. Till then, for Nick Harris, Bryan Broaddus, and Ambar Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!